Hello again, you old salt. Welcome back for episode 27 of New Kids on the Dock. This is Josh, he's 26, and naturally as a Sagittarian, he can't sit still. I'm Phoebe, I'm 24, and like the cancer crab I am, I feel things very deeply, especially when it comes to our 1.5-year-old bearded dragon, Sonia. This week, we sail away from Hummocky Island. With a northwestern head, we mosey on up to Great Keppel Island. Supposedly one of the best island getaways on the southern Great Barrier Reef. We'll get back to you on that. With a beach for any wind condition and bushwalks to boot, a spanner gets thrown in the works when our outboard dies. If you've been wondering when our luck will run out with everything running smoothly, you'll enjoy this episode.
Sort of 10 knots of wind, and now it dropped down to wouldn't be much more than 6. We're going between 3.5 and 4.5 knots, only about 5 nautical miles from Keppel's. We've got 2 girls basking in the sun. One's reading and the other's chilling.
Not doing much. Sonia! She's getting there. Sonia! Yay!
Yay!
Hi, little one.
I'll show you what our sail configuration is at the minute. Got the wind over our aft quarter on the port side. I've got a preventer on the main because it's out a little bit. Our head sail's let out a fair way, trying to gulp as much air as possible. The last little bit will be a bit slow, but from what I can hear, our comrades over away have lost a lot of wind too. So yeah, we should get there in the next hour or two. And that's Great Keppel Island. This is great, Phoebe.
A flash of intense scarlet shot through their vision and stopped on a bush 10 feet away. It's him. And the cardinal fluttered away untouched. Mary turned and looked at her incredulous. "Why?" she demanded. But when they put their weight on their feet, groaning with the returning pain and then getting used to it, and started to move, Mary stooped alongside Gettle and gathered rocks of good throwing size, enough of them to carry at the ready in one hand. It was true.
Have you ever seen someone as sun smart and sexy?
I wish that I was wearing an elegant dress with pearls, champagne. This is what that dinner deserves.
Yeah, and maybe a tablecloth as well.
Yeah, tablecloth.
Please, Mum, don't send us one. We don't have space for one. That's the reason we don't have it. Anyway, let's eat this wonderful, delicious meal sourced from the ocean.
So incredible.
I've got some ocean carrot and oysters that I've shucked and left in water. That will be a real test as to what a man can handle and a woman.
What's happening down there, girlie? He always says that to me, so he gets to be girly today because he's eating French toast.
I'm living out my dreams. Honestly, I'm a big sweet tooth, and we have never had French toast.
No, we've never made French toast. I bought, when I did my provisioning, I bought heaps of bread.
And lots of eggs too.
Lots of eggs, lots of bread, because I just thought that we'd be, I don't know, eating a bit more than what we have been. We've just been eating so much fish, so it's nice to reduce all of that. But yeah, we went to the pub here on Great Keppel Island and they stayed for a couple of drinks, and then we got home. I made Josh fat carbonara, the first carbonara that I've ever made, Josh.
Oh, that's so good. There was a couple of firsts last night.
And then also first French toast. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know why we haven't done it sooner. We've got a lot to sort out today. We've got a lot of life admin to catch up on. Josh has got some stuff to sort out on the boat.
Well, also, we haven't spoken about this yet. Do you want to maybe hold it so we can see and then hold it? So when I went into shore at Hummocky right before we left yesterday morning, I was just putting along with the outboard. I could hear a vibration just change in the motor. So that gave me quite a level of concern. We brought it back here, packed the tender up because we sailed over to the Great Keppels, arrived here, and before we went to motor around to the pub yesterday to catch up with some friends, I just took the outboard for a burner around the tender up and down to hear what the vibration was and to push it a little bit to see if anything was going to break down, and it did. I called Glenn, the wonderful man who bought the outboard off, and got a bit of history on the motor, which didn't really help me all that much apart from knowing that it ran really well for entirety of its life. I found a few loose bolts in the cowling, so I found where they had vibrated out from, retensioned them and tensioned everything else around that, and now what's involved is figuring out why the motor's not running, because it actually died on me and won't start now. Yeah, it'll be a really, really great little introduction to mechanics for that two-stroke outboard, because that was the main reason that I tended back towards a two-stroke, was that it was reliable and simple technology that I could work towards understanding and working on myself. So yeah, it's perfect time for it to happen because your Puna's only over yonder. So if I can't figure it out, and obviously all the wonderful people around us in the boating community can't offer me any help or solutions, then I'll be able to get it sorted when we go over there. So yeah, we're here doing a few jobs today.
Oh, my toes.
Oh my God.
Oh. Oh.
Outboard specialist Josh here. Just kidding. I've got no idea what I'm doing. But I have found that my fuel filter has quite a lot of debris in it. I've checked that there's no blockage in it by blowing through that filter, and it blows through. Yeah, I'm gonna put this back together and check maybe the pickup internal to the tank. I've also got an inline filter that I can check, but I believe my issue at the moment is fuel delivery because the revs are quite low when it's revved up. So as I said, there was a rattle in the outboard that I noticed, a change in the pitch of the motor running, and I found a couple of loose bolts within this cowling area, but now it's kind of just got really low revs once it's full throttle and just die. Like if I throttle it down, it will just die. So to me, from what I've understood so far, that sounds like a fuel issue, fuel delivery. So I'm just checking all my filters at the moment. So this inline hose comes from the inlet through and into that what could possibly be the fuel delivery on the carby or something like that. So next step, what I need to check, well, I did check this before, but I just wanted to show you what I checked was hand primer, priming up. We got a little bit of a fuel leak at the top of that line, which is that hose clamp, but how we check as well that it's priming up is then we push that nipple and we got fuel. That's good. What I'm going to check though is whether or not our pickup, because there's a filter at the bottom of the pickup, maybe the filter at the bottom of the pickup has been clogged, and that could potentially be a reason for our lack of fuel delivery. Otherwise, if it's not in this system and it's not on the incoming delivery side of that filter, that inline filter that I just removed before, then that's not good, because it probably means it's in the carby or in the motor, which is kind of where my confidence stops, basically. Look at this. You've got fuel in there, which is good. That pickup is extremely clean, so not going to look too much further there. I know that we're getting fuel. We're going to start this outboard now and see what's happening with it. So I'm just going to prime it up and look for any fuel leaks in those lines that I've reconnected. It's getting fuel. I can see that through this inline filter. So I'll give it a start. That's at mid throttle. I'll throttle up. No, that's a full throttle. That's that rattling noise I could hear. Right, now I'll throttle down. So it's actually still running now, it's at low revs. And dies. So I'm going to pull some spark plugs now and check them out. So I wouldn't say I know a lot about outboards, or mechanical in general, but one thing I do know is that when you remove the spark plug, anytime that you have the spark plug out of that hole, it's a direct opening into the block, so you need to stuff it with a rag or have it filled just to ensure that nothing gets in there, dirt or water or anything like that. So these are the two spark plugs. I'm assuming because it's a 2-stroke 2-cylinder, I'm not too sure. So I'm going to be one by one removing the plug, checking the head of it, and giving it a clean up and putting it back together. They don't look great, but it doesn't look... Holy far out. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. That's really not good. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's chunks of metal. Oh.
So those chunks of metal, that's not good?
That's not good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
That's really not good.
So just so we're all clear, that's not good at all.
That's not good at all. So I have some bad news for that outboard. As I thought, there's definitely metal in that bottom cylinder.
And if you can't remember, it's not good.
And I'm thinking that at this stage it's the piston rings have failed and let go. I'll show you what's come out of this bottom spark plug. That's all metal pieces there. And this spark plug is extremely oily. From what I understand of that, and to quote the internet, that piston rings form a seal between the piston and combustion chamber. So from what I've learned is that when the piston rings fail, the seal is broken around the combustion. It erodes the barrier between the fuel air mixture and the oil. So that's why we've got excessive oil on our plugs as well.
Not good.
I'm gonna have to investigate replacement rings, double check with a trusty friend and go from there. It is a sweet afternoon, coming into a beautiful sunset, and we're wrapping up another fantastic day. And I didn't film this series of events. The magical thing that has happened from there was I was going to call Yamaha in Yeppoon and say, hey, give me a price on fixing this up, or get an idea on the price. But ultimately, the fear is that it would have costed probably double of what I spent on the outboard, and that would have hurt quite a bit, not even knowing the condition of the rest of it and what would have happened from there. Along comes our friend Al and Danielle, our old neighbours from Ballina, with a friend of theirs in the tender, and he said, oh, what's happened with your outboard? I gave him the rundown. He said, oh, I've got one of those outboards. I said, oh, well, that's good. I need one. And he said, oh yeah, I'm not using it. I said, oh, okay, and then I said, so you mean you'd be open to offers on it? And he said, Dave, the fella, says, yeah, I would. That's pretty handy then, isn't it? So I jumped in the tender, shot up there with my mate Esky and checked it out, and yeah, it's pretty flash, better condition than our existing one. Exact same, not exact same year model, but exact same model, 8 horsepower 2-stroke Yamaha. Yeah, just offered him some money and he took it, so we got a new outboard. Didn't even have to hit up Marketplace, didn't have to call around, didn't have to chase people. His boat was 500 meters off ours. So I'm feeling extremely grateful, extremely lucky, and so stoked that we're still moving, and yeah, it's all coming together. Now the way it works is I have 2 outboards. One I'm going to be stripping down for parts, keeping what I understand to be useful and ditching or giving away the rest. And one that's fully functioning that will need a bit of love and maintenance. But yeah, we're back on the road, so that's epic. We're going over to Yeppoon tomorrow to see some of Phoebe's family, and I just want to show you our new outboard on the tender. Not that it means much, but that's it there. Here's our old sorry sod. It all comes around and it all works, and we're just trusting and staying stoked. And you know, we've been looked after by a lot of people in our journey, no doubt, and I'm really bloody grateful for that. I've tried to help people out in favor, and that's the most beautiful, incredible thing about this weird, wonderful boating community, is that it's this distant, faraway thing of people from different ages and cultures and I guess just countries really, but it's this global community that is so kind and so generous and so beautiful, honestly. So that's the way it works sometimes. That's what it's all about.
Josh and I have been saying to each other how things are just falling into place for us. Things are just aligning. We feel like we're on a real lucky streak at the moment. The night before we sail into Yeppoon to do our reprovisioning for the next couple of weeks.
We run out of gas. Woohoo! so stoked.
Oh.
Dude, working off this 3.7 kilogram gas bottle and not having a spare makes it hard, because if we'd just left and ran out of gas, we would have been up the creek a little bit, because it's our main source of cooking really. And I just went to boil some water for our pasta, the last meal we're going to cook on there, and the gas just ran out. I couldn't even start. So so stoked.
That's the first time he's ever been that excited to run out of gas, but it's more so because it happened the night before we're about to leave. We would have been honestly devoed if that happened.
It would have been
heart-wrenching.
I would have been very bothered by it, let me say. So yeah, that's unreal.
Now we can go into Yeppoon, get a refill, get some gas.
We've done a lot of cooking in there, eh?
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of fish.
We've got to think exactly when it was that we...
I feel like it was Tin Can Bay. It was one of those little IGAs, because the girl came out with the key.
Oh, it was Tin Can Bay.
It was, yeah, which only was a month ago.
Wow.
So yeah, we've gone through it, eh? We can't compare it to when we were in the trawl harbour, because remember that gas bottle lasted 6 months, because exactly we had shore power. Yeah. So a month on gas is pretty good considering we cook on it every day.
Yeah, so stoked. So I'll get this, I'll get the dinner off, and then I can put the... Do you want to show them where we're cooking?
Yeah, we got a little... We won't be able to see, but we got a little...
It's been a little bit slippery down below at this hour. As the tide pushes up onto high, we're getting a lot more swell. So I've just set the induction up out here. Batteries were at 100% today, so we've...
Oh, it hasn't been 100% in a long time.
I know, 99%. So basically, apart from the cost of manufacturing all this stuff, etc., but we're completely carbon neutral off of solar. Cooking our dinner tonight. So that's really rad. I'm
proudly
really
sponsored by Mother Gaia.
The sun.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
The wind has dropped out on us on our very short 2-hour 10 nautical miles sail over from Great Keppel Island to Yeppoon. So started the motor. I set my alarm for 6 because I was like, oh, the wind's good from 6 till 8, and I wasted too much time in the morning. We lost the wind, but hey, what do you do? That's okay, because look at that view. Yeppoon has some ridiculous headland. I mean, look at those ones next to the marina. Wow. So the plan is just to head over to the marina, drop the anchor on the outside of the marina, and chill out there for a few days while we sort our admin out, and then potentially go into the marina for one night before we go, just to wash the boat, get all the bloody salt off everything, fill up on water, petrol, get a bit more diesel, and then yeah, that'll be a one night. Should only be about 50 bucks from what I've heard. If we don't want to spend the money, we'll just do water runs, but it's making me want to get a desalinator.
as many.
No, he doesn't.
'Cause
And,
you
and
teach them.
is Archie older?
Yeah,
Yeah,
much older.
wow.
He's only 4, 6, that was 4, 6, something like that. Yeah.
He's 15 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, you've never looked better.
You've never looked better.
Grays.
I love how I've got his little toupee going over to make it look thicker, but it's actually that thick. It's so tiny. There's nothing going on here.
So you don't expose him, Jay.
And you got comb over it, you know.
What a big noggin. Huge. As always, it's a pleasure hanging out with you. It's actually my birthday next week, so we're excited about that episode. We'll see you then. You.